Hi, my name is Ali Salifov, and today I'm going to be talking about Newton's laws of motion and how they apply to seatbelts. So, Newton's first law of motion states that an object that is at rest or in motion will stay in its state of motion unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. When a car is accelerated from rest, the road provides an unbalanced force on the spinning wheels to push the car forward. Yet the person that was at rest wants to stay at rest. So while the car accelerates forward, the person remains in the same position. The force of the road on the locked wheels provides an unbalanced force to change the car's state of motion. Yet there is no unbalanced force to change the person's own state of motion. Thus, a person continues in motion, sliding along the seat in forward motion. A person in motion stays in motion with the same speed and in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force of a seatbelt. The basic concept of a seatbelt is to protect a person in a car collision by holding them in a seat. This prevents a person from flying forward and colliding with the dashboard or windshield. Although a person is still flung forward by the force of a crash, the seatbelt is soft and fits over the ribcage and pelvis, which can absorb the force with little or no damage. A seatbelt can be extended and can also retract when needed. If a person leans forward in a car seat, the belt extends enough to allow the movement. However, if the car crashed, it would tighten up enough to keep a person firmly in place. This happens because the seatbelt is connected to a retractor mechanism. This mechanism contains a spring and spool that work together to keep the belt snug while still allowing movement. There is also a locking mechanism that is triggered when a car slows or stops abruptly, as it would in a crash. That's why a seatbelt may sometimes tighten if the car brakes suddenly. According to a research report from the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, seatbelts save approximately 13,000 lives in the United States each year. Furthermore, the administration estimates that 7,000 US car accident fatalities would have been avoided if the victims had been wearing seatbelts. The basic idea of a seatbelt is very simple. It keeps you from flying through the windshield or the dashboard when your car comes to an abrupt stop. One of the reasons why this happens is because of inertia. Inertia is an object's tendency to keep moving until something else works against its motion. Basically, inertia is every object's resistance to changing its speed and direction of travel. Newton's second law of motion states that the greater the force, the greater the acceleration, by the equation F equals ma. The greater the mass, the less acceleration. Acceleration is caused by a net force proportionally to the force and inversely proportional to mass. Newton's second law relates to seatbelts because the law states that the greater the force, the greater the acceleration. The greater the mass, the less acceleration. When you're wearing a seatbelt, it obviously stops you from accelerating. If you were to get in a car accident and got hit with a large amount of force, you would accelerate faster, but the seatbelt would stop from accelerating. Newton's third law states that to every action there is always an equal and opposite reaction. According to the third law, the thing that stops your motion will hit you back with the same force. This is why you get injuries even from a seatbelt to your tissues or internal organs, because that seatbelt hits you with the same force you hit it with, and the force depends on your mass and the acceleration of the vehicle. A typical seatbelt consists of a lap belt, which rests over your pelvis, and a shoulder belt, which extends across your chest. The two belt sections are tightly secured to the frame of the car in order to hold passengers in their seats. This basic concept of a seatbelt connects to Newton's law of motion. As said before, seatbelts saved approximately 13,000 lives in the United States each year. This results into a social problem as well. According to Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, motor vehicle crashes are the leading cause of death among teens. Young adults have the highest crash-related injury rates of all adults. The National Center for Injury Prevention and Control also states that of the teens that died in crashes in 2012, approximately 55% of them were not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. So when it comes to increasing seatbelt use, there's a lot of things we can do to promote safety. We can use a seatbelt on every trip, no matter how short or how long it is. And we can require everyone in the car to buckle up, including those in the back seat. What the government can do to fix this social issue is they can educate the public to make seatbelt use a social norm. They can also make sure that police and state troopers enforce all seatbelt laws. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to wear a seatbelt. No buckle, no ride.